Hey guys, I'm Chef Team Max. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to do a chicken and cream with some sweet potatoes and raisins and mushrooms. It's an amazing dish. Stay with me. Click subscribe if you're not doing that already. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video and ring that bell, and I'll send you new things I have coming up. So see you back in a second with some chicken and cream sauce for this beautiful cool weather. Okay guys, we're back. Chicken and cream sauce is, like on a French chicken and cream is such a great memory of mine from being a youthful cook, working in French kitchens. I just love it. And so one of the things I wanted to show you today was this beautiful chicken and cream. So to do that, first we're gonna get our pan, our pot really hot. So you can use a small pot or a big stock pot like this is fine as well. It doesn't need to be that big. I'm just doing 2 chicken breasts. You could do it in a small pan too. It just, when you have all these veg, when you put them in, it gives you room to work. So first thing I'm gonna do, I have some ghee here, and I'm using ghee because ghee actually, it's pretty healthy for you for the most part. If you believe that, there's a lot of trains of thought on that where ghee is much better for you than a lot of stuff that's out there. And so it's basically like a clarified butter. Now I have some recipe for that if you want to make that as well. It's basically butter that's been heated up and clarified, and the milk solids have been cooked out, and you've got just the fat of the butter itself. So the burning point on that is much higher than regular butter. Regular butter has the milk solids in there, they burn, but they're removed now. So now it's just got the fat, and so that fat is going to cook nice and evenly. Now I've got some beautiful chicken breasts here. You just want to get a beautiful chicken, and then I'm going to use these tongs to flip it so I don't have to wash my hands immediately. But let's do this though. I'm going to put salt on it, and then I'm going to put pepper. Nice amount of ground black pepper on there. I like to put a lot of ground black pepper on this. Really, the major seasoning is in salt, pepper. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we put it on there nicely and generously. Okay, I like to make a nice crust on there of the salt and the pepper, and then you heavily salt the chicken like this. Not heavily, but salt it more aggressive than you normally would. And then the rest of the dish later, you won't need to salt as much, right? So I'm gonna add more pepper here. Make sure my grinder's cruising. It does. This one's a little finer grind than like some of my. I have pepper mills for every type of grind. I've got like a loose grind, a thick grind, a tight grind, and they're all they work different for different times. This is normally when I would like a little bit thicker grind. So this one is a little bit more mild for salads and things like that. And so I would use a thicker grind normally on that. Okay. Now I want to take this, and I'm going to put it right in here in my pan. Let this get hot. My oil is hot. The pan is hot, and then we're just going to go like that now and cook that. Let me move this to the side. Okay. Now, while that's cooking, let me talk about some of the other stuff that's going in this. Here, I've got onions, carrots, and celery. Okay. The onions and carrots and celery. This is about It's about actually 1 large carrot cut down, and 1 onion. And about 3 celery stalks, not the whole bowl, or not the whole stalk, but actually ribs of celery, okay? And then I've got some mushrooms. Now I've got both cremini mushrooms, and I've got, you can see some yellow oyster mushrooms as well. So a few shiitakes are in here. So it's basically like, it's probably like a couple ounces of mushrooms, like 1 package of mixed mushrooms. You can use whatever mushroom's your favorite. In this, I like to have a little bit of more special mushroom. Now, sweet potatoes, I took 1 sweet potato, peeled it, and diced it into perfectly nice dices, because we're not going to puree this, so we want it to look sharp in the dish. So I'm gonna have those like that. It's 1 sweet potato. And then raisins, I've got some golden raisins. Now, you can look at these raisins. You'll see they're all different shapes and sizes. There's a traditional golden raisin right there. So good. So what have I done to them? I've taken them, and I've taken I've taken equal parts of water and sherry vinegar, and I warm it up. Warm it up in the microwave if you want. That's easy for you. And you just want enough liquid to cover these. So if it's 2 or 3 tablespoons of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of water, microwave it in a coffee cup, get it really hot, and then you're going to pour it on top of the dry raisins. And then let that sit for a couple hours. That rehydrates the raisins, and that's what I've done here. Now, the reasons I have different ones, like this big one here and some darker ones, is because I go to the farmer's market, and there's a guy there who has really nice grapes and does his own raisins. So I buy those, and they're really beautiful. But if you can't find that, just buy a box of golden raisins. It's fine. Just boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So you can't beat them up in the saute pan. You just want to sear them, sear in the juice, put a little bit of texture, but you don't want to overly cook them, because if you do, then it's going to be dry on the outside of the chicken when you eat it later. So right now, you can see I'm just searing it. Now I'm almost done with that. So I've got, what am I going to go with in first? So normally I'm not going to go with something wet in there. The wet things stay later, right? And the potatoes, they don't need to be sauteed. They just need to be cooked. So those will go in when my liquid goes in. So the first 2 things that we're going to go in are going to be your onions, celery, carrots, and your mushrooms, okay? You could put garlic in this as well. I have put garlic in it before. And to be honest with you, I ran out of garlic, and that's why I'm not putting it in this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the chicken out. Why? Because you can see I've taken the chicken out right here, okay, and I put it in that. I'll let that sit there. And the reason I do that is I don't want it to overcook, okay? This is one thing I want to tell you about the garlic, because normally I would have probably added garlic in right after I took the chicken out. I'd put my garlic in, sliced garlic, and then I would add these vegetables after when the garlic is toasted in that nice ghee. But it's one of the things that I always talk to people about recipes, and I go, oh, I was going to make your dish, but I forgot the garlic. I didn't have garlic enough, so I couldn't make it. No, that's not the case. Yes, would it be a little bit tastier with garlic? Yeah, I love garlic. But you're not going to kill the dish by not having garlic in it, okay? So just if you don't have the carrots or you don't have the celery, leave them out. Like I love putting in this dish, traditionally I like to put celery root diced up in it too. But I couldn't find a good piece that I liked at the store, so I didn't get it. But we're going to do it without it. Now you can see how this is kind of deglazed any of the bits that are in the pan from cooking the chicken. And look how beautiful that looks. These are already sauteed nicely, right? I'm going to add a little salt. Remember, not too much to that, okay? And I'm going to add my mushrooms in, okay? So I put my mushrooms in, and I want to cook these for a little bit here. Now, the reason that you want to make sure that you cook this good, and you're saying, okay, well, if it's cooked in a cream or a stew like this, then what happens, does everything have to be cooked really good? I want to cook it down good, because this chicken, the breast itself, is going to be dry if you overcook it. And that's really only going to take about 10 minutes simmering in this cream sauce to make it beautiful. So we have to get this ready. So when we put it in that cream sauce, the chicken's going to cook for 10 minutes, right? And that's like why even like the sweet potatoes, I'm going to add them in now, because I want the sweet potatoes to start to cook, right? Because the sweet potatoes arguably will cook slower than the chicken itself. So we want to put those sweet potatoes in, and diced up that small, they'll take about 10 to 12 minutes to cook nice and tender. So I want them to be already cooked ahead of time, so they're super tender. I don't want them to be mushy, but I just want them to be super tender. So I put them in now. So now the sweet potatoes are already started to cook. Meanwhile, the chicken is going to take 10 to 12 minutes to cook in the cream. So we're going to let this saute for about 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll be back in a second, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, guys, we're back, and my vegetables have started to wilt down nicely. The onions, carrots, and celery have released their juices. The mushrooms are wilted. Sweet potatoes have been steaming off here for a minute or two. Now, it's a French dish, right? I'm going to deglaze with some wine. So I've got about a cup of Sancerre. Now, traditionally in this too, you'll see this dish in Alsace as well. And over there would be a beautiful maybe Pinot Gris or a Gewürztraminer would be nice as well. Something that's got a little bit of sweetness is fine. A Riesling in Germany, you would see chicken and cream, and it would be in a Riesling cream, which is wonderful as well. And that's it. I'm gonna let that saute up really quick, and I'm gonna let that deglaze out. While that's deglazing out, I'm gonna add, I've got some chicken stock here. This beautiful chicken stock is really nice. If you don't have chicken stock, you can just add water. You're gonna get flavor from the chicken as it's cooking, and you're gonna get flavor from these vegetables. So don't stress about it. Now, good chicken stock, if you're making that at home, is gonna make a difference in your food for sure. It's gonna taste rich and beautiful, but if you miss out on it, it's not gonna crush it. It's not gonna kill the dish, okay? So it's still gonna be really good and really flavorful. And sometimes you're cooking like a champ, and sometimes you're just cooking pretty darn good, and that's all right. You know, don't give yourself too much of a headache about it. Now, you can see my liquid's almost about gone there, right? So at this point, I'm gonna cook in, and I'm gonna put in my chicken stock. Now, because the chicken stock was cold, it's gonna cool this whole thing down. It's gonna take another 3 to 4 minutes for this to heat up. And so we're gonna wait for that to heat up, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like, and then we're gonna finish this dish. Okay guys, you can see this chicken broth is starting to boil now. It's looking beautiful. Now I wanna put my chicken in it, but first I'm gonna put my cream in it. Now normally I would put heavy cream, okay? That's the French way, you're gonna put heavy cream. I've got Nature's FYND that makes this kind of cream substitute now. And so it's almost like look at the texture. The texture is like a mayonnaise, and you can use it like as a substitute from a mayonnaise. It's made from like a mushroom extract, and it's going to be it's going to be much healthier for you than adding in a cream, because of the fact that it's not excess fat, right? And you already have a chicken breast, which is very light, right? You're gonna add in this. I put like 2 or 3 tablespoons of it. You can find it in some of your upper end grocery stores, or go online and see where you can find it. You might be able to buy it offline, even by your house. You never know. So with this, I'm gonna let that come to a boil. And after that comes to a boil, I'm gonna put my chicken in that, and then we're gonna cook this, okay? So we'll be back in about 2 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back. You can see it's simmering here. At this point, I'm gonna take my chicken, and I'm just gonna lay my chicken breasts in there. And they're gonna cook right in this cream. And it's gonna be wonderful. So I wanna bury them down in the cream like this, okay? Now, I don't want this to reduce. So what I'm gonna do is turn this down, because I want to cook it gently. Okay, and I'm gonna put the cover on it, and I'm gonna set my timer for 12 minutes, and we're gonna see what it looks like. So I'll be back in 12 minutes. Okay guys, we're back. It's been 12 minutes. I'm gonna take a look at this now. You can see the chicken is just basting in this cream, taking a bath in this beautiful cream sauce. But again, the nice part about using a kind of a dairy substitute like this Nature's FYND is that you're gonna be able to eat this without the stress of it being bad. Now, I removed one of them just really quick. I want to feel it. So I put my fingers on, and I feel it's really firm. Okay, and it has a little bit of bounce to it, which means to me that it's cooked mostly through, and now it just needs to rest here to finish the cooking process. So at this point, I'm going to take my beautiful sauce here of vegetables and sweet potato. All this. Now I got a taste for doneness and flavor. The only thing I'm worried about doneness is the sweet potato. So we take a piece of sweet potato and we taste it. Perfectly cooked and smooth. I'm going to taste the broth again by itself. I don't know, I think it's really perfect. Now, one of the things I forgot to tell you when we went to go ahead and cook this for 12 minutes is I forgot to put the raisins in, but I did put them in once I paused the video. I remember them and put them in. So don't forget to put your raisins in. So you put the raisins in, not the juice. You don't want to put all that vinegar juice. Strain the raisins out, right? Because the juice would just kill the whole dish, right? There'd be too much acidity. But the little bit of acidity from the sherry vinegar that's in the raisins adds a really nice acidity to the dish. If you didn't have the raisins, you don't like raisins, I would add lemon to this then, if you're not going to put raisins in, because you need to add a little acidity to the creaminess, right, to balance it. Okay, But this is done. So I'm going to turn that off because it's really cooked enough. And I've got some parsley here, fresh parsley. And I've just picked the leaves nice. And I'm just going to, you can see I'm not cutting it super fine. I want to have really big pieces of parsley in this. You could serve this if you didn't have parsley. You could serve it with spinach. If you guys, a lot of times people have spinach that they're sitting in their house in containers. You know, so many people eat a lot of spinach nowadays. You can just put spinach in there if you wanted to, or you could saute spinach, put it underneath of the chicken, either way. But this parsley is going to give beautiful flavor. So I put that in like this. I'm not worried about cooking the parsley. I'm just kind of stirring the parsley around in, let it wilt, let the flavor of the parsley meld with this dish. Okay, and then I'm done. So I taste this now, and that's perfection. I let the chicken rest for a second, and I'm going to pull it out at this point, and I'm going to slice it. So I slice the chicken breast down. You can see, look how perfectly that is cooked. Right? Look, see how it's perfect white chicken in there? Look at that. These chicken breasts are so big, you could really even do like, half per person. And then I cut that, I'm going to cut those in half like that. You see how that works? So now whoever's having this can just really have it, they can have it kind of already kind of cut up really small for them. With this, I'm going to put in my vegetables. You guys can see how I'm doing this, right? I'm just adding a nice spoonful of vegetables in there. Like this, whoops. And then I'm going to put in my chicken. A little there, a little here like this, right? Maybe I'll put one more spoon of vegetables in the center, like this. Look how gorgeous that looks, right? And then I'll put like a nice little sprig of parsley around like this. And there you go. We've got a beautiful chicken and cream sauce with sweet potatoes, golden raisins. The cream, like I said, is a cream substitute. So this actually is a very healthy dish. It's got my beautiful chicken stock in there, which is like a bone broth. It's going to give us a lot of nutrients in there. And then just wonderful vegetables and that protein of a chicken breast. So it's actually a really good dish for you to eat. And I hope you enjoyed it at home. If you have any questions, give me comments below, and I'll see you back in the kitchen soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.